Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Strong Families podcast. I'm Amy.
And I'm Jo. And on this podcast, we have real talk with real parents about the highs, the lows, and the in-betweens of family life in the hopes that we can all learn a little something.
That's right. So grab a coffee, strap in, and we hope by the end of this podcast, all of our families have grown a little stronger.
I know I need it.
Uh-huh.
Well, hello.
Hi, Jo.
We are here for another episode. Excited to have a good chat. And today, we don't have a guest.
No, we don't.
We are
It's
not
just us.
interviewing anyone.
Yeah.
We are interviewing each other, I suppose.
Yeah, having a chat.
Yeah. So just talking all things parenting with
Yeah.
Jo and Amy today. So you're welcome, everyone.
Yeah, you are welcome.
Get ready for some
parenting
brilliance.
experts. No, not at all.
No. But yeah, we just thought it was about time that maybe we shared a bit of our experiences and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
what are we talking about today, Amy?
So I thought it might be a good idea to talk about what expectations we had before we became parents.
Mm-hmm.
What did we think it would be like? What did we think we would be like as
Mm-hmm.
parents? Because I think what you expect and what the reality is
Yes.
can be different for good or negative.
Yes.
But I just thought it'd be interesting to have a
Yeah.
chat. I feel like I'll learn a lot more about you, vice versa, just having these chats. And I think it'll be interesting to listen in on.
That's right. And I mean, naturally, everyone has expectations.
Yeah.
So, everyone, the saying, like, or the story goes that you're a perfect parent until you have your own
Until you have
kids.
your own, yeah.
Because it is very easy
Yeah.
from the outside looking in to go,
Yeah.
all right, before I have children, I expect that this is how my life is going to look. I expect that this is how I'm going to respond.
Yes.
This is how I'm going to parent. This is how, baby years are going to look. This is how teenage years are going to
Yeah.
look. And so we have these inbuilt expectations, I think,
Yes.
maybe from our own upbringing or our own personalities of, what we think it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think part of the difficulty with parenting or the difficulty of becoming a mum is
Yeah.
that those expectations, even when we try and be realistic, even when we try and go, no, I'm thinking rationally, I'm going to be realistic,
Yeah.
often the reality and our experience doesn't line up with the
Totally.
expectation. And like you said, for
Totally.
good or for bad, some
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
are way better than expected.
Yes.
Some things are nothing like we expected. And
Totally.
it is a wild ride, isn't it? You
Absolutely.
you realize, okay, I'm going to throw the handbook out and readjust my expectations
Yes.
now that I'm in it.
Yes.
And I think it's something that continually changes.
Yeah.
So, you just kind of get your head around one stage
Yeah.
and then you have expectations of what it'll be
Yes.
when your child's 2 years older.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, actually, this is also different. So it's this continual learning and growth
Totally.
process. And that's what
Totally.
we're all about,
Yeah.
Strong Families, is like we want people to be strong, but we realize we can only be strong if we are growing.
Exactly.
You are going to strengthen over time
Yes.
if you're intentional about, okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to grow, I'm going to adjust expectations. So, yeah, that's how we're going to talk
Yeah.
about it. And so
Yeah.
the way we're doing it today is we both did not chat about it,
Nope,
did
we
not
haven't
prepare this,
Have not
but
talked.
we both kind of wrote down 3 expectations. So things either we did or did not
Yes.
expect
Yes.
before we reached mothering or that
Yes.
stage of mothering. And we're going to talk through about whether those expectations were met or not and what the experience has been. So, Amy, why don't you lead us
my
out? I want to
gosh.
hear what your number
Okay.
one was, the first
Okay.
thing you wrote down.
For context, I am a mother of a 2.5-year-old. That is my single child that I currently have. Give it a couple of weeks. So that's the context of me saying all of these expectations. But this is a cracker.
Okay.
Bear
I'm
with
ready.
me.
Oh,
Bear with
I'm
me.
interested.
Bear with
Okay.
me. Bear with me as I explain it. I expected to be a perfect mother.
Okay. Well, I can see where you went wrong here.
Right?
I can definitely see where you went wrong because
Let me
that was
explain.
a ridiculous.
Let me
That was a
explain.
ludicrous expectation.
It is a ludicrous
Okay.
expectation.
But
It really is.
explain, okay,
Let me
why
explain.
did
This-
you expect
this is
that?
why I had
and
a dis-
why was it definitely
This is why
not
I had
true?
a disclaimer. I thought I'd be so patient naturally.
Yeah.
And I also thought I would bake muffins every
Okay.
day with all my free time.
Is this because
also,
you were already like that?
I mean,
Or you just expected your personality
think-
to morph into that when you
Yeah.
became a mother?
I just thought I'll just have this just overflow of just constant love and adoration for this child, which I do. And I just kind of didn't think that all of my other feelings would exist.
Okay.
Like stress of life,
Yes.
things that need to get done, blah, blah,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. So that sounds super broad, but I think what I imagined, like I follow a lot of mums on Instagram. I'm sure all mums probably do. You follow a lot of mums, and I would be like, that's what my mothering life will be like. I will make everything from scratch, and I will have the perfect answer to every toddler question, and I will navigate all of these challenging moments so well.
Yeah.
And was I wrong? Patience is
Yeah.
something I really have to
Yeah.
work on. You know, I think that's my biggest thing. I can get so caught up in everything that I need to get done that I have to consciously slow myself down and not get frustrated
Yeah.
that my toddler wants to play with me.
Yeah.
All of that kind of stuff.
I think we, just don't necessarily expect
Yeah.
the selflessness
Yeah.
that is required
Yeah.
as a mum. That
Yeah.
you think you'll be patient, but
Yes.
when it's on your terms, that's
Yeah.
easy. But when you have to be selfless and be patient, when the circumstances are outside of
Yeah.
your control, because there's this little person that's having, big feelings at an inconvenient time, that's where it's really
Yeah.
put to the test.
Yeah.
And your margins are less because you're tireder and busier and things
Yeah.
like that. So, I do think that... that was probably not a very wise expectation.
No, it
Yeah.
kind of reminds me of like what I thought I would be like as a wife, and then I got married.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Okay.
that other stage of like,
Yeah.
okay.
And how did you find? Did you find you struggled then in feeling inadequate as a mum because you're like, I
Totally.
am not meeting my expectation?
Totally.
Okay. And how did you
Totally.
deal with that? Because you can't live like that. You can't
No.
live continually down on yourself saying, I expected perfection and I'm
Yeah.
not perfect, so I'm failing.
Yeah.
How did you deal with that?
How did I deal with that? Because I'm probably still dealing with that.
Okay.
I think I've just learnt to have a lot of grace for myself, that I'm
Yeah.
still figuring this out. I still see myself as very green as a mother. Like I'm still learning and I'm still new to this whole journey. So I've just learnt to have grace, and then I just try and slow down every day. Actually, one of the things, because everything with my patience and the things that stop me from being the mother I want to be comes down to that selfishness, right? The things that I want to get done, the things I want to do. And so something that I now actively do in my life, because I juggle work, housework, parenting, social life,
All the balls
all of the
that you're keeping
things,
up in the air.
all
Yep.
of the things. What I do is when I step into a metaphorical room, so like say I step into the living room with my kid, that's where I am. Nothing else. Nothing else
Kind of
matters.
really practicing being present.
I'm present right now in
Yeah.
this moment. And then when I'm at work, I'm at work.
Okay.
You know, does that
Yeah.
make sense? And so I think that stops that overlap. So when I'm
Mm-hmm.
with my kid and my kid needs me, I find it a lot easier to be like, okay, I'm good with this. And
Yes.
I just manage my
Yeah.
emotions a bit better. That's one of the things that's helping
Yeah.
me right now.
Okay.
But yeah, turns out, guys, I'm not a perfect mother. Plot twist.
So for anyone out there with that expectation,
Yeah,
you can pretty
I feel
safely
like-
say
I feel like
that is not one that is going to be met.
I feel like I need a preface. I knew I would have flaws, but I just thought I would be better than.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
had
there
high
we go. Yeah, I
expectations of
did.
yourself. And
I
I mean
did.
that's good in a way. You want to be
Yeah.
like, I'm going to give it my best.
Yes.
But yeah, it's probably not a realistic
No,
expectation
no,
to
no,
think
no,
that
no,
you
no,
will
no.
be the Instagram perfect
Yeah,
mother
not
at
it.
all moments of all
Yeah,
every
not
day.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, your turn. You're up.
All right. My number one is something I didn't expect. And
Ooh.
I didn't expect all the choices. And I say that because I think I realized that I thought parenting would be more simple. Like I knew that, yes, there are choices when you become
Yeah.
a mum. How are you going to feed your baby? How are
Yeah.
you going to settle them? How are
Yeah.
you going to discipline them?
Yeah.
So I knew that there would be choices, but I didn't expect it to be so hard to discern what is right and wrong.
Yeah.
I thought it would be quite clear cut that this is the right way to parent, that I'm going to choose this way and, I will discipline
Yeah.
my child a certain way, or I will do bedtime a certain
Yes.
way, and that's the right way. But I think, particularly, when I had Penny, my
Yeah.
eldest, she was not the most settled newborn.
Uh-huh.
And so, I spent a lot of time Googling, as I'm sure many mums have. I really went down the rabbit hole
Yeah.
and I realized that there's like a good argument for completely opposing methods of doing
Yes.
things. You know, you'll have
Yes.
one argument saying, you know, you have to get them to, I don't know, feed, wake, sleep, you know,
Yeah.
to get them
Yeah.
sleeping properly. You can't
Yeah.
ever feed them to sleep. And,
Yeah.
you know, this is the right way to do it. And there's many people with great experiences and, you know, good reasoning why that should work. But then there's other people with very good advice that, you know, they do it a different way. And
Yeah.
these are not things that are like, you know, live or die. Like you're feeding your baby,
Yeah.
you sleep, you know, they're sleeping either way.
Yeah.
And so you do have the freedom to choose.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh yeah, one of them is clearly right
Totally.
and clearly wrong. And so I think I just really did get overwhelmed, especially as a first time mum with just the choices and not, I'm someone who likes to do the right thing. You know, I'm
of
goody
course.
two shoes. I want to do my best. And so
Yeah.
I was, did not expect all the choices. I thought for me, the
Right.
choices will be really clear. I will just, you know,
Yeah.
do things a certain way and I'll feel confident in that. But yeah, I think I've just realized that, there's going to be a lot of choices
Yeah.
and we really just have to kind of navigate, okay, what are my values? You know, what's my personality, you know, like a routine that works for someone else
Yeah.
is not going to work for me and my
Totally.
family or my child, you know, yes, we have the same values, but, you know, one of my children I will deal with a certain way
Yeah.
and another child I'll deal with a different way.
Yeah.
And it's not like one of those methods is right and one is wrong.
Yes.
Like there is variation, I guess is what I'm saying.
That was
Yeah.
going to be one of my questions because you have 4 kids. Have you found that there are things that are different for each?
Yeah, for sure. Like
Yeah.
they're their own people. And
Yeah.
like I said, it's still like values based. It's not like I'm going
Yeah.
to be a completely different mother for
No,
each of
yeah,
them.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm still me. I
Yeah.
still think our family has, you know, certain identity
Yeah, family
and
values
values
the
and
same.
all of this
Yeah.
stuff. But I've realized like what their needs are. If I really kind of I have to kind of customize, I guess, my relationship
Yeah.
with them and my parenting style and things like that
Yeah.
to work with what will work with that child and that age. And
Yeah.
sometimes there's a bit more grace given. Sometimes I'm hardline, you know, and, you know, there's clear boundaries and it's really, really
Yeah.
firm. And then other times, you know, like I'm more maybe compassionate and softer
Yeah.
and a gentler parent.
Yeah.
And, so all of that to say, I guess, I didn't expect it to be this way, but what I've learned is that there's a lot of choices and
Yeah.
it's actually made me a little bit more gracious, I think, with other people because I used to always
Yes.
think like, "Ugh,
Yes.
why is that person doing that with their
Yeah.
family? You know, just
Yeah.
kind of, I think we all do have this
Yeah.
kind of set idea of what's right and wrong.
Yep.
And then when you're in it, you realize, oh, actually,
It's not black
every
and white.
circumstance is different.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's not, you know, there's obviously sometimes better choices than
Totally.
others,
Oh, of
but
course. Yes, yeah.
but like just in the nitty gritty, you know, like, don't you wish that kids just came with like a handbook and you could just be
Literally.
like, this is what you should do, you know,
Yes.
follow step A, B, C,
Yeah.
and your child will turn out into a healthy, well-balanced
Yes.
adult. And it's like,
Yes.
no, it doesn't work like that. There's
No,
a
it
lot of
doesn't.
choices.
There are a lot of choices.
Yeah, so I just didn't expect that.
Okay.
I thought it would be easy. I thought I'd be like, I got this. Like,
Okay.
I can achieve. I'm an achiever. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to nail this
Yeah.
parenting thing and I'm going to make the choices without any issue. But
Yes.
I've actually, sometimes feel really
Oh.
indecisive. What should I
Yeah,
do?
what should
But
I do?
yeah,
So many
it's a
options.
struggle. Yeah.
It is a struggle.
but a good struggle.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Cool. Number 2,
Well,
what's yours?
Yeah, that kind of complements mine a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
Yep.
I expected to care about other people's opinions more about my parenting decisions. Okay. So
Yeah.
you hear a lot of people. Now, I'm hoping this can be an encouragement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember just hearing other people feeling insecure about decisions they were making as parents.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, oh, I'm going to
Like me just then.
yeah, well, yeah, kind of, but like you hear a lot of people like shying away from talking about decisions they're making, or they're just very like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Like,
Yeah, or they're worried that
they're
like what
worried.
family members are
Might
going to
think,
say.
yeah, what family members think, that's a
or-
big one.
Or their friends if they are like making
Exactly.
doing things differently. That like,
Exactly.
oh, this is uncomfortable because I
Yeah.
don't believe in that. Or
totally.
yeah.
So I kind of went into it expecting, okay, I'm going to have all of this insecurity about my parenting, but that's okay. Try and shake it off, and I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't.
So we have had
Yeah.
different experiences.
Different
Isn't
experiences.
this interesting? Because I
Yeah.
was kind of the opposite. I was like, I'm going to be all
Yeah.
certain. And then I
Yeah.
realized, oh no, there's a lot of choices.
I definitely wasn't certain. Like I definitely learned and evolved different parenting styles. Like even little shout out as we've done grow courses and we've spoken to Dr. Justin, like I've learnt along the way, and so my decisions have changed,
Yes.
et cetera, et cetera.
And like that's okay too.
That's
like I
okay.
look back and I kind of like almost want to like apologize to Penny and be like, I'm sorry,
sorry,
you were
my
my guinea
test
pig child. There was many a moments
Yeah.
with her as a toddler
Yeah.
where I'm sure I responded in
Totally.
a way that did not
Totally.
help her. And I mean, it's not like I'm perfect now, but I do think like I definitely have learnt some stuff over
sure.
the years where I
sure.
can like deal with situations so much better. I actually
sure.
I love having lots of kids for that reason
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh, I feel more,
getting
you know,
it,
like, yeah, it's not my first
Yeah.
rodeo kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
And me saying this doesn't mean I think I know
yeah,
perfectly.
But you just found it didn't bother you
It didn't
so
bother
much.
me.
You were like, I am
yeah.
the mum.
Yeah, I kind of thought, don't you think I love and care about my kid so much that I want to do the right thing by my kid?
Yeah.
I'll actually never forget, I'm not going to name the person by name, but there was a scenario where Archer was throwing rocks and he kept doing it. And so I needed to discipline him. And so I put him in timeout. And this person, jokingly, this was fully a joke, they're like, don't worry, Amy, I'm not judging your parenting. And I just turned around. I was like, wouldn't care if you were. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
because I'm just trying to do what
Yeah.
I think is right by my kid.
You're like in the zone. You're like, I'm
in the
doing
zone.
the right thing.
Yeah.
So I don't really
Like,
mind.
I
what
know
you
what
think.
my kid responds
Yeah.
to, and I love him more than you
Yeah.
do, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really expected to have more insecurity around my parenting. So, yeah, I don't know if anyone can take encouragement from that you, the parent, love your kid more than anyone else in the world. And that's all that matters.
Yeah,
And you're doing your
that's
best.
awesome. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Great.
Great. Well, my next thing, an expectation I had.
Yep.
I expected to stay essentially the same. Is that your next one?
kind of. You keep going. You keep going.
But yeah, I like really thought kind of before I became a mum that just like my priorities, my personality, like
Yeah.
I'm like I'm Jo. This is
Yeah.
who I am. You know,
Yeah.
I'm social. I like doing this. I like
Yeah.
doing that. I'm, you know, competent in my
Yep.
job. All
Yeah.
these different things that were
Yeah.
who I was.
Yeah.
I kind of just thought when I have a baby, I'm going to stay essentially the same person. And while it's true that yes, I am the same,
still
and like my
Jo.
personality, you know,
Yes.
like there are some things that are me.
Yes.
I definitely, with each child, not just with becoming a mum the first time, with each child, have really felt like it has really changed me. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But I really thought I would want to do the same things. I'd
Yeah.
have the same goals. I'd have the same dreams. And I think, no, like my life has shifted and it has expanded
Yes.
and it has, you know, now welcomed in these other people that I
Yep.
care about, that I am so invested in who they are and who they're becoming, that it has changed me.
Yeah.
And, you know, now I'm busy with the kids and I don't necessarily want to go out and catch up with friends
No.
every evening. Like I
No.
used to honestly be like out every night of the week
my
doing
gosh.
sport, social, like I was real social butterfly.
Yeah.
And I mean, now I still love people, but
Totally.
I'm so much more happy to also be at home. Like
Yeah.
that's just one way, you know,
Yeah,
there's many
yeah.
other ways, but
Yeah.
that's like maybe one kind of really visible way
Yeah.
where like it really has changed me and I'm
You're good with
happy
it.
with
You're
that.
good with
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and like even just, in terms of, wanting to achieve and, you
Yeah.
know, like progress my career
Yeah.
and things like that, I felt like, oh no, I've had this like seismic,
Seismic,
sorry,
yeah.
seismic.
Yeah, I understand
Don't
the
mind
spelling,
me. Seismic. Sometimes I think I say things the way I read them in books, and then I
Yes.
realize that's not how they're actually
go
said.
pho-
It's
you
just
go
how I
phonetic.
read it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've had this seismic shift
Yeah.
in, just who I am.
Yeah.
And I think it's beautiful. I think
It
it's
is beautiful.
awesome. And I think, part of it is that, you physically have gone through a lot, you emotionally have gone through
Yeah.
a lot, and your world, like, you just,
Yeah.
it's like my little, like, put on
Yeah.
some different coloured tinted glasses that have really changed the way I look at the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm probably not as much of a risk taker as I used to be. You know, because I want to be there for my kids. So
you're aware of your mortality. Is that what you're trying to get at?
I mean, a little bit.
I ain't jumping out of a plane anytime soon.
I mean, not that I never would have jumped out of a plane.
No, neither. But like, it's just,
But yeah, like, I don't know. Like Dan has suggested like, oh, maybe, you know, both of us should go on this international trip together and like leave the kids in Australia. And
this is how superhero movies start. The parents die and then...
okay, this is getting really morbid.
Sorry.
But like, you know, like in the past I would have jumped at the opportunity to do that. I would have been like, yes, adventure. Like, I'd love that experience. But now I'm like... Absolutely not. Will both parents be out of the country?
The children.
Think of the children. So I just feel like my choices and who I am has changed a lot. And
absolutely.
I expected to stay more the same than what I have.
Yeah. I think a lot of people might have that expectation. So that's it's interesting. I like that. I like that a lot. Mine's kind of similar ish. I expected my child to slot into my personal and professional life seamlessly.
So every time you say one, I'm always just like, oh, bless.
Oh, bless. I know. I can't believe I ever thought that.
Yeah.
Like, to paint a picture, Chris and I, every Saturday morning, would go to Told You So, which is a local coffee shop near us, and sit there for like 3 or 4
Has nothing on Sanctuary Cafe, I've heard.
Nothing on Sanctuary Cafe. We love Sanctuary Cafe. The barista's really good looking. But we would.
That's her husband.
That's my husband. Sorry.
She's not just.
Oh my gosh.
She's not just.
She makes a mean cup of joe.
Yeah.
But we would legit sit at this coffee shop.
Yeah.
Till it's shut.
Yeah.
With friends and just drink coffee after coffee, eat bagel after bagel, and just have a mighty good time. And I just thought, oh, the kid will come.
Which totally first baby for like a little while.
For a little minute because they're a blob.
Until they start moving.
Then they move.
Yeah.
And then they don't sit still.
Yeah.
So I just thought that would seamlessly happen. I thought that my my like work life would just continue.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm self-employed, mind you. So like my working from home would be easy. I thought it would be easy. It's not. No. It's not at all. So I just thought that they would just slot in and everything would be peachy and I would prove everyone wrong. Because everyone told me, you know.
Things are going to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess mine was more like my essence. I thought would be the same, whereas yours was like your life and your schedule and your ability to
do the
get
things.
Stuff done.
Totally.
You thought that would stay the same.
Yeah,
but
and it didn't.
Really hasn't.
And all that to say, I'm good with it. Like I'm so happy with it.
Weren't you just saying the other day how much more productive you are?
I am so much more productive.
So it's like, yes, he didn't slot in, but when you have moments of work, you were like, I will be the most productive person in the world.
Actually, I think our episode with Crystal, she said this, that there are studies that show the most productive person is a mother. Mothers are so productive.
Yeah.
Yes. So I have, because I'm a wedding photographer, so a big part of my job is editing thousands upon thousands of photos. I used to say that a wedding would take me like a week because I would just fluff over it and just waste time. I can get a wedding done in a day. Like, because when I'm working...
Yeah,
I'm working so
like
that I don't
down.
have to later, so I can be with my kid.
Yes.
You know, so so much more productive. It actually blows my mind how much I can get done. I'm like, I just
pat yourself.
But what the heck was I doing before?
I know. It's so true. You look back and you're like,
so ridiculous.
I had so many little windows of time that I just, whittled away doing something.
I would be interested to look at my screen time before and after.
You reckon screen time?
I reckon.
You see, my kids are so old that like we didn't do as much browsing on phones.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But I reckon my numbers would have racked up there because I would say that like checking my phone was like you know how you can check the fridge and you're like, oh no, there's nothing there that I want, but then you keep going back and checking. It was like that with the phone. It's just pointless. Yeah. Anyway, we don't do that anymore. We don't have time. That was my third.
Awesome. All right. Well, wrapping it up, my third one.
Yes.
A bit of a cliche, but I didn't expect it to go so quickly. I feel like I feel like often in your kind of dating, getting married, adult kind of life,
Yep.
you look forward to the season of having children, and you kind of, I don't know, you kind of just expect to get there and to really just sit in it. Like this is going to be this huge part of your life. And I mean, look, my kids are still quite little, but I do have these moments where I just feel like I blinked and they grew up. And you know, I have
Penny's making
those
PowerPoints.
I know. That's it. My little baby who was, you know, the screaming newborn, and we were exhausted and we didn't know what we were doing, and we were so in love with her, but she was the little child that we could cart with us everywhere. You know, just all those typical baby things. That was 2 seconds ago, and now like you said, she's making PowerPoints, and I just read the Father's Day card she wrote for Dan, which is so like poetic. She's a real little author, a little writer. And you know, I just think, gosh, like it's going to be this another window of time, basically, as much as we've had with her already, and she'll be looking like a full-blown adult. You know, she'll be 16, she'll be and so I guess I just didn't expect it to go so fast. And so that makes me I think just value being a mum more. To have that expectation, to be proven wrong with that expectation has made me go, I've got to you know, embrace every moment. And every moment is not easy. There's a lot of, you know, noise and things that you don't necessarily want to be dealing with as a mum. But those, especially those pockets of beauty, you know, like I actually even just took like a little video yesterday of my house, because Dan had gotten home from work and Tessa, my 18-month-old, was really excited to see him. So she ran over to him and he was sitting on the lounge room floor, like throwing her up in the air, and she's giggling away. And then I look, you know, I pan around in the video to Oscar, who is like pretending he's like a soldier or something like this, like having like a pretend battle or something, just in his own mind, doing something. And then Harry, it had been raining, so we had some umbrellas out in the house, and he had them like a clamshell, of two umbrellas, and he's sitting in the middle of them. And then Penny is over on the couch, engrossed, nose in a book, as she always is. And I just took this like panning video of just a day in the life. Like it was just this normal moment. It was noisy, chaotic. They were all doing their crazy little things. And I thought, I just want to capture this. I'm not going to show anyone. I'm not going to post it anywhere.
You'll talk about it on the podcast, but you won't show anyone.
I'll talk about I mean, I could post it now if you'd like. It honestly was nothing that exciting. But I was like, I will, you know, one day I will stumble across this video and I'll be like, wow, like those are the days. And so, I just like realized that future Joe would appreciate remembering that moment. And I think it's just having that enough of brain space to go, I'm just going to kind of step out of the moment and go, like, let's just, you know, capture this, you know, and just remember, because those boys were being crazy. Like he was ruining the umbrellas. I could have gone, Harry, stop breaking our umbrellas, and Oscar, stop pretending to fight, you know. But I was like, no, one day I will want to remember the chaos in the household. So anyway, didn't expect it to go so fast, but I'm going to, kind of embrace every day.
Totally. You don't find yourself wishing time away as much.
No,
when you become a
definitely
parent.
not.
No.
I definitely, it's like, I don't want to get older. I'm quite enjoying being in my 30s. But also, like I want to just really realize that this is a great time in life. Yeah,
it is. Well, flip.
On that note,
there are our expectations. I'd be interested to hear what other people's expectations were.
I would love for people to tell us, you know, what they're expecting, even if it's like little things. Like I didn't expect to be like talking about poo as much as I have.
Honestly, I would never. Honestly, I was thinking about it on the way here.
Kids that are find it so hilarious.
Totally. You know? I was thinking about it on the way here. That was just one of my silly expectations that I didn't write down, that I expected to be totally grossed out by changing nappies.
And you weren't?
No. When it's your kid's poo, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, true, actually. I'm not that bothered.
Yeah, because I'd never changed a nappy before, Archer. And I was like, that's gonna take me a while to adjust to. No.
Yeah.
Also, just so many fluids in mothering. Anyway.
Yeah. There is. There's a lot. Some
There's a
some
lot.
grosser than others,
Yeah,
but
I could do without it, but here we are. But yeah, I would be interested to hear other people's expectations, but they're just a couple of ours. I'm sure if we thought about it more, there'd be so many. But
so many more.
the reality is parenting is so much more fulfilling and amazing than I ever thought it could be. So
Yep.
yeah, love it.
Love it.
Cool.
Great.
All
Thanks,
right.
Amy.
Thanks.
Talk to you next week.
Okay.
Well, that's all for this episode of the Strong Families podcast.
We are so glad you joined us for this chat. If you want to continue the conversation, you can find us on Instagram at strongfamilies.au or on Facebook. We would love to hear from you. Now, go enjoy your week, enjoy your family, and we'll join us again next